Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to Apex 2022. I am Kaizo on the broadcast. I'm going to bring you top 32 losers. It's going to be Peanut, probably the only man crazy or passionate enough to play Little Mac in bracket, versus VGBootCamp's very own Pink Fresh on this Min. And this is a battle of two completely different styles of fighters here. Of course, Min very comfortable standing on the opposite side of the stage from you and just trying to wall you out with these forward smashes, with these aerials, which also are forward smashes, I should point out, versus Peanut on this Little Mac, who has to find his way to his opponent with a lot more vigor and a lot less tools available to him. He's got one of those tools right now, though. KO Punch is available, but he receives knockback from that ability from Min and therefore won't be able to get that one off. Probably going to have to find a different way to take this stock. Grab will take him and will throw him off stage. Can he recover a second time? Yes, he gets back onto the stage, but Megawatt forward smash is going to be enough to seal the first stock from Peanut here, as Pink Fresh looking very confident in this matchup. You could say that this is a positive matchup for Min, and I don't think that anybody would argue with you, except they'd probably say you're understating it a little bit. Peanut and Little Mac have next to no tools required to really deal with the space creation that this Min has. It's really, you have to play essentially a bullet hell just to get to this Min before you can even start to punish her, and we're kind of seeing that come to fruition here as Peanut seems to be struggling to make anything happen there. Counter will be enough to get him back to the stage cleanly, but again, just loses that KO punch immediately to just any knockback at all from Min from across the stage, and Pink Fresh very confident in just backing up and making sure that there's enough distance separating the two and really putting up a good wall, and Peanut doesn't seem to have a way to break through that wall right now. There's probably not a lot of worse matchups that you could be asking for if you're Peanut here, so going to have to try his best with what he's got available, and has a good amount of percentage onto this first stock from Min, but again, so many stocks down at this point, two and now off stage. That's going to be a third. No way to recover there for Peanut, so we'll end up losing this first game in this best of 5 to Pink Fresh on the Min, and I don't know, I'm not familiar with Pink Fresh's character pool. This could be a counter pick angle, because of course if you are against something like this Little Mac that wants to rush you down, wants to close the gap, wants to play as close to you as possible, usually people look for these long-range characters. I'm thinking Min, I'm thinking Byleth, I'm thinking projectile characters like a young Link or maybe a Samus or something, so it certainly would be a reasonable counter pick if that's what's taking place here, and it's hard to argue with the results as Pink Fresh already has one game under their belt. Peanut going to take a good hard think about this stage selection and maybe a little bit about the music selection as well. We're going to be going to, I believe that was either Smashville or Town and City, and going right back to the Min, going to Me Brawler here, actually. So Peanut recognizing that probably not going to get it done with the Little Mac, it's just too much of a losing matchup, swapping over to the default Me Brawler here and trying to see if there's a little bit more that he can facilitate for himself on this character. Naturally, as you saw, the shot put does give him a projectile that's not only a good tool when he has distance on this Min, but also a good edge guarding tool. You can throw that one right at the ledge, and then just getting these dashes, getting a better recovery is probably the most important factor in this swap up, but certainly giving you any way to combat the pressure that this Min puts out. There's that flip over, that forward air, which will allow him to get back onto the stage. We'll take a brief pause for an NFL ad here, courtesy of Barefoot, and then get right back into the action. And that on your screen that we are just talking about is absolutely the reason that this swap is likely to be coming out here. Just gives him the ability to flip directly over those aerials from Min, which ordinarily as Little Mac, you're just dead to that. That keeps you off stage, that keeps you from recovering pretty much ever, but now that you have this Zero Suit Samus style flip, you at least get some kind of tool to recover, but not going to be enough to get him back there, as Min Pink Fresh certainly does read that one and send him off, but not enough damage yet to kill. So both of these guys at about kill percent. Grab and the throw will not do it. 142 off stage for this Min looking for the snipes of the shot put, but a good laser will be enough to keep him at bay, as now it's just one quick up smash for Min that will get the job done. Going very low on the recovery, but knowing that Pink Fresh has plenty of time in these offstage scenarios, Flip will not get Peanut back onto the stage, and actually will put him in a... I would love to turn these ads off now, man. I really would. Min now in a more advantageous position, gets a good up air. That's about 60% damage now total onto Peanut on this Mii Brawler, which just hasn't been looking as good as you probably would have hoped out of this switch up. Obviously, the Little Mac matchup probably wasn't happening, but you'd like to think that this Mii Brawler matchup, he's practiced enough for this to be the Achilles heel, but really just kind of bracket diff putting him up against Pink Fresh here. There's not a whole lot else that you can really ask for Pink Fresh other than a Little Mac player in bracket, so good matchup for Pink Fresh, not so much for Peanut, but you gotta play with what you're dealt. You gotta play the cards that are on the table, and Pink Fresh certainly doing that here, clinging onto this this first stock at about 170% will keep him alive for the time being, trying to wall out this Mii Brawler once more. Doesn't have to approach, and I mean, Min's very comfortable with that. It begins to be a little bit more awkward when you're the one in disadvantage and you have to approach because you've got a stock deficit of this character, but considering the fact that Peanut is on his last stock here and Laser will certainly take it there, Min Pink Fresh very comfortable just chilling out on one side of the stage and allowing the Mii Brawler to approach and forcing them to go through this wall. We're going to skip a little bit further forward here as we go to Hollow Bastion on this last game, or at least potential last game here. Min stuck to by Pink Fresh, but Peanut does have the option to go to something different, and what an eclectic character pool Peanut has, man. Who do you know that plays Little Mac, Mii Brawler, and Mii Sword Fighter? Probably just about this guy and nobody else, so maybe this is the Achilles heel, this is the kryptonite that we've been waiting for Pink Fresh, and maybe this will be exactly what Peanut needs to get him back into this one, because obviously, loser side of things, you can't afford to be dropping any more games here, and already looking a lot better in this matchup is Peanut, but we've seen this one before in the Mii Brawler matchup, and we've seen this before all game long, these edge guards from across the stage from Pink Fresh trying to keep Peanut, I get them confused, and I mean, I think that you can forgive me for doing that. Trying to keep them off the stage as often as possible, grab and then a back throw will do exactly that. Sets up for the edge guard, there's a Ram, but the ring won't be able to get it either. Megawatt, however, from that distance will certainly be more than enough to take that first stock in. Pink Fresh just has not really looked perturbed at all in this set. Obviously, we discussed the whole matchup situation, but even as far as the gameplay goes, man, very clean so far. It's often easy to say that these zoning characters, these projectile characters just play themselves, but Pink Fresh has been clinical, it has been surgical in this matchup so far. Finally does lose that first stock at a fairly reasonable percent on Peanut, so at least some kind of fighting chance here, but gonna have to continue to make a couple more miracles like that happen. Getting a lot of good value out of that Chakram, actually, enforcing the shield pressure for the grab out of Pink Fresh. Tries to go for the edge guard, will not be able to get it, and for his trouble, he's going to get back thrown by this Min once more. Now an up air will put Pink Fresh, I'm just reading names here, put Pink Fresh in disadvantage and then put him in the top blast zone. So the first stock lead that we have seen from Peanut up until this point, 92% though, and off stage doesn't look great for you against the Min. Ring almost catches that high recovery from Peanut, but won't be able to seal the deal. So now one more edge guard, one more Megawatt, but won't get it done this time. Nair to try to get that kill a little bit earlier, but won't be able to find it. The trip into the forward smash will do it, however, so there goes that stock lead as it's now 0-0. This is the tournament stock for the fan favorite Little Mac player Peanut in this one against the demon of Smash Ultimate, Min herself, and Peanut goes very low there trying to recover back onto stage and put himself in advantage state, and doing so pretty well here. That Whirlwind will not be able to catch Pink Fresh just yet, but when you've already got 73%, it doesn't look too bad. Their up smash will make it look a little bit worse. No edge guard there from the forward smash. Tries to get one more. Ring won't do it. Ring won't do it a second time. Now Peanut back on stage here. Gets that reflector off of the Chakram for Pink Fresh and just sets up the kill beautifully there for that forward smash megawatt. And that's going to do it for us here in this matchup. Pink Fresh 3-0 fashion takes down potential fan favorite Peanut in top 32 losers of this Apex 2022 matchup. So that is the end of our broadcast for today. I have been Kaizo, bringing you the action. If there's one of these games you want covered, man, drop a comment, drop a like, drop some kind of information for me. I'd love to cover that one for you. But for the time being, we're going to send it off here. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.